Welcome to Mix Up in Business. Don't forget to join me on TikTok at Kenesha Beckett 1. Here is part 2 to time spent or generational wealth. My son's father, I wouldn't necessarily call him a deadbeat, but he's exactly like this man. I moved out of the town. I moved out of the city or state, I should say, that we were living. And I moved out of that state and I moved to another state. I've been in the new state now for 5 years. 5 years. Financially, he takes care of his child. There is a money deposit in my account every week. Anything his son wants, his son gets. May I try to hold it, guys? He has never been to our new state that we live in. Never. But he is building generational wealth because he's a good man financially. Insurance, medical insurance, anything financial to do. If he passed today, I'm sure his son is set for life. Excuse me, guys. He has never been to a football game. He's never been to a school meeting. He's never been to anything for his child in this new state. So that's why it leads me to ask what's more important. When I saw this guy talking, when I listened to this guy, it reminded me of my personal situation. Because financially, even though this guy doesn't really take care of his son financially, but my son's father take care of him financially. But time spent, it's not there. He doesn't see his child unless I bring my child to that state to see him. Can he travel? Yes. He travels all the time. He's a businessman. He has businesses all over the world. But he has never come to the state where my child is. To me, what is important? I know generational wealth is important. I know all of that is important. But it's when your child is able to touch that money, to able to build his generational wealth. Can your child ever say, Daddy was at a football game? Can your child say, Daddy was there for my birthday? Daddy was there for my graduation? You see, sometimes men, and I'm talking to y'all men, who think that you guys are out there running the world to build generational wealth, right? Just remember your family and your children in that moment. You get what I'm saying to you? Because you're jumping all over the place building generational wealth, and your child can never say, Daddy was there. You know, it really breaks my heart when I see fathers who are out there. You get what I'm saying? Fathers who are out there that's not, and I specifically say fathers, because us mothers, we're nurturers, and it's what we do. We're going to be there at the graduation. We're going to be there at the football game. We're going to be there, everything. But fathers, your time is needed. And as I said, I'm talking about my personal situation here. Now, my father, I've never been there for me financially, emotionally, nothing. Never been there, period. Never been there, period, at all for me. Never. Never been there. Now, at my age, he is coming around, right? He's coming around, and I don't have anything in me to open up because you have never been there. Pray for me on that one. So just remember, it's not even about the financial part. It's about being there for your child.
I
You know?
have something to say regarding like your
Okay.
dad coming in the latter part of your life. For me, because I've never seen him, likewise never gotten any form of support. I just don't know him, it's complete stranger. I've always dreamt, well not now, I'm not dream about them something there now, but before, me, me always wonder what my reception would be like if he decided to, come or try to enter my life in the latter part. Like now, him a like 70 now. Nothing no left in him. Like, him reach him 3 scores and 10. So him the end of life. Anything else him get now are just God's grace and blessing upon him life. I me wonder how would I react if him fi come and try to enter my life. And as you say, you're not quite sure how to go about it. And my advice would be to let it go.
Let it go is easy for me, but I can't open up. See, my dad calls me 2, 3 times a day, and I have no connection. I answer the phone when I want to, not all the time, to be honest. I don't know how to do that. You get what I'm saying to you? I don't know how to let him in. I don't know how to
You
talk
don't
to
need
him.
to let him in. There is no requirement for you to let him in. You can tell him that. Just lay it out. If him call you and you're annoyed, answer. It's annoying. Me don't know what to say to you. Me don't know if to tell him. You have to just tell him like it is. A man, him a go understand. Trust me. Just tell him it. You don't have to sugarcoat nothing. Just tell him it straight. Tell him, say, listen, we are not, no, we're not going to do that. If you ask you one question where you think, you need to get personal, say, I'm not comfortable. You can't say it because him know. I try, but he already knows. So you have to just tell him as it is and make him understand, say, listen, what you expect it to be is not what it is going to be. Right? So you don't have no obligation to let him in. That is not your responsibility at this time. It is for him now to find. Him have to go scour the earth now. To find a way where I go make you say, you know what? God go with you, my boss. Big up yourself. That's not your responsibility. I feel him responsibility. So make him go and knock. But you can tell him as it is.
So, like I had stated earlier, that guy remind me of my father, right? My father is a loser, right? So he calls me. Anyway, so this one incident happened where there was a funeral. My grandfather had passed his dad, so I went to the funeral. So I flown down to Jamaica. I'm there. So I need to make some phone calls. So I don't have any phone. I can't make a phone call. So I reach over to him and I say, brother, lend me your phone. He says, oh, I have my phone, but I don't have any credit on it. So I'm like, brother, why you walking around with no credit on your phone? How is that a phone? So he got into a big thing, right? So after that, I didn't talk to him for the next 20 years. Then we had a conversation. I'm going to tell him straight, don't call my phone. I don't like you. I don't know you. Don't call my phone like that. So there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I never had a relationship with my dad since I was 3 months old. What the hell you want to call me for? No, don't you hear me? 3 months old, right? So you've been in my life the last time I was 3 months old. And now I'm pretty much almost 50 and you're nearing the end of your life. Or you want to come try to bring some burden on me? Because
Exactly.
you look like this guy, is trying to get in, try to call me and trying to talk to me so I can, what, buy pills for you from the doctor or something. or try to keep you alive when you did nothing to keep me alive for 50 years?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm concerned about that. My sisters, they ask me why I hate him. And I tell them straight, I don't hate him. But he's like a stranger and he hates. They would ask, why do I hate him so much? But I don't hate him. I just don't want nothing to do with him. Like he never had nothing to do with me. So why should I want anything to do with him? So they're like, so what happens if he's sick? Would you help him to get to the doctor? I said, I would not even give $1 to buy that man a pill. But when it's time for him to go to the other world, I'm willing to, put up the expenses for whatever it takes to put him in the ground as fast as possible. If I didn't treat my son the same way, so if my son should grow up to feel that way about me, I would be very disappointed, right? But if I had treated my son the way he treated me, and my son says, I want nothing to do with you, like, obviously it's natural. This guy doesn't even know me. I don't even know him. We just know each other's names and recognize each other. As a matter of fact, I went to Jamaica in December and I went to my grandmother's house, his mother, and he was there. And did you know he didn't recognize me? He didn't know it was me. So why would I want a father like that in my life, right? So don't feel bad about it. If people are trash, you treat them as such, right? You don't feel bad when you're putting out garbage. No one feels bad about it. There's some people in this life that are literally trash. And I know people say people know me to be harsh. It's the reality. People who are trash, you treat them as such. You don't need to hate them. You just don't need to keep them around you. Right? Move on. Get on with your life. If it was for your doing, I would not be alive today because what you did could not have sustained me. You had contributed zero since I was 3 months old. Right? So I owe you nothing. Not even a conversation. When I see him, I don't say hi. I don't talk to him at all.
It says sometimes forgiveness is for yourself. Right? I know that. I know that. Forgiveness is for yourself. But your story, it make me emotional. I'm not lie. But forgiveness is for yourself. Right? So we have to forgive sometimes for us.
I think when you get to a place of acceptance with the circumstance of your parents, regardless if they're trying to be in your life, whether they were present but absent at the same time, because that's also a thing, right? There comes a place of acceptance where you just say, it is what it is. And you don't have them up feet, because my mom was abusive. She was physically abusive. She was mentally and verbally and emotionally abusive. And I got to a place of acceptance many years ago that I was a child that was ostracized. I was a child that she call it the black sheep of the family. I think different. I move different. I was a child who asked questions when everybody else would just, it is what it is. Children should be seen and not heard. I've done a lot of things in my life that both my parents are not proud of. I've been incarcerated before. And I got to a place of acceptance that they are who they were. And you just have to, you just get to a place, it's acceptance, right? Where you forgive them and you say to yourself, okay, well, they loved me the way they knew how. And you just live in that space, right? You accept that they did the best that they could. While you're going through it, you build up resentment. Some people hate their parents, where if them ears said the parent, the funeral come, then probably would have pissed in one buckle and carry go throw up on the grave or something, right? But you just get to a place of acceptance where you understand that it is what it is. You know what I mean? If we're going to look at it biblically, right? The Bible says that your mother and father will sometimes forsake you. So there is no, you know, there's no hard feelings, and you move on about your life as best as you can. The sad thing is, sometimes they don't get to that place. At least your father, Kanisha, is trying to reach out, right? Some parents don't get there. Some parents never get to a place where they can accept, and this is prevalent in Jamaican parents, where they never get to a place of, you know, say, I treated you poorly, I did you wrong, I wasn't the best parent that I could be, and I accept that and apologize. And sometimes we just have to be okay with not getting an apology. That's just what it is, because some parents never reach there. What I would say to you, Kanisha, is it's okay to want to guard yourself. It is okay to do that, right? It is okay to protect your heart because you know trauma. However, if there is a part of you, and I'm saying this to you as a baby sister, as a big sister, as a whatever, as a sister, if there is a part of you that still needs that, because most girl kids, I don't care how big you are, right? You want that, you want your dad. And I'm just saying this to you with love. If there is a part of you, right, that says, you know, I have questions and I want to know why, allow yourself to explore that, right? If you do have questions, it's okay to say, hey, you know what, Dad, I'm not at the place that you want me to be. This is where I'm at, right? And he should be able to respect that this is where you are, and I want you to meet me where I am. And if there are questions that you have, you're allowed to ask those. If there are things that you feel in your heart of hearts that you need to say, you go ahead and say that. If you don't, that is also okay. But you have to let him know that this is where I am. I say, hey, you know, I see what you're trying to do. I get it. You know, that's fine. That's, you know, but I'm not there. And I'm not telling you that I will never get there, but right now, this is where I am. And it's okay to create healthy boundaries. If you don't want him calling you 2-3 times a day, you say, hey, you know what? I'm not there at a place right now. And that is okay. That is okay. It is okay to sit with yourself. Sit with yourself. I think it's one of those things where everybody's situation is unique to themselves, right? And only you know how you feel. Nobody can tell you how you feel. Nobody can tell you what to do. Nobody can influence you in any way. So I think go inside yourself and ask yourself, where am I, right, with this whole situation? And be honest with you. And I'll just leave you with that. Be honest with yourself. I'll leave you with that.
Find it in yourself to forgive and to let go. And you're doing it for you, not for him. Another thing I get to learn, I teach myself this. Must Jesus bear the cross alone and all the world go free? We go through temptation, and sometimes our temptation come in life is not how we wanted it, but that's how it comes. So we have to learn to forgive and to let go, just for your own self, just for self, just for the healing of yourself. Because if you continue, if you don't let him, I mean, I'm not saying to let him in. You're going to let him in, but you're going to have your guard up.
It's not only men that make bad decisions when it comes to their children. It's not only men that run away from their children. This live, like I said over and over, it's not a male bashing live. Is that story can be looked into any other way. It could be looked in on a male perspective and a female perspective, because female makes some bad decisions too when it comes to their children. So this is not a male bashing live. And thank you, Hay, for your story, because one of the things that I want male to understand, male who are struggling with baby mothers that are difficult and hard to deal with, there is laws out there to protect y'all as well. If y'all want to be fathers, nothing can stop y'all from being fathers. There are some women out there who is going to be that evil woman. Don't let it stop you from being a father to your child. Men, I am raising 2 boys. That's why I didn't want to take the route of male bashing, because I'm raising 2 kings. I am raising 2 kings. So the guy who got upset earlier, I wish he was here now to understand that. This is not a male bashing live. It's just the story that I listened to brought a lot of emotions for me when it comes to my child's father, when it comes to my father. This is not a male bashing live. And hey, your story, like, you guys, y'all don't know how this topic is so emotional to me. I am holding back my emotions right now. But I want y'all fathers to know that y'all children need y'all. I want y'all to know that y'all children need y'all fathers. We need fathers in the world to make the right decision when it comes to your child. Don't think that you're going to run around and make all the money in the world and build, what is it called? Come on, Evan, or help me. Oh my God. I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Generational wealth.
Thank you. Generational wealth. You get what I'm saying to you? Don't think, I got you, Hey. Don't think that you run around the world and forget your kid behind, because you're building a future for them. Because when it comes to the end of the day, they're going to go through. You cannot. And I just want that to sunk in. And this does not go for fathers only, because there are some females out there who will leave their kid and go work 3-4 jobs. I tell people all the time that I am not doing 3-4 jobs and miss my kids' activities. I am sorry. I want my kids to look in the audience and see mommy in the audience. I'm not going to say I'm going to make it to every single thing. My son played band, and that's the reason why this live was moved to Saturday, because I used to do this live on Fridays. But he has band practice on Friday. I mean, band where he plays on Fridays. So guess what? I moved to Saturday. Now my son also does wrestling. When wrestling season come in, this live probably going to go back to Friday, because wrestling season is Saturday. I plan my life around my children. My life around my children. Because I want them to look in the audience and see me. I want them to raise their children this way and be there for their children like mommy was there for them. So men out there, females out there who think that they're chasing money to build generational wealth, I am not saying don't do it, but make time for these children.
Comes up to you because you're a strong black woman to do all that you're doing. You understand? If we have a lot of mothers out there like you, I think this world would be a better world. You understand? I have to take my hat off to you, because we have few mothers like you who really put up that effort for their kids. And fathers out there who really put out their effort for their kids. Father like me, you understand? I have to give myself a big thumbs up, because I stood for my 3 boys. Okay, what it is, I always be there for them, and I always take care of them. Because when you're growing up in life, when you have a male perspective around you, as a male, as a boy, you grow more, and you learn more respect. Because a boy wants to see his father as a role model. And if you, as a father, live your life to let yours want to be someone like you as a role model, not a role model that something negative, but something real positive. And that's something that he can talk about even when his father passed off, and he can have that memory to say, "I know what." When my father was alive, when my father we used to do this, we go fishing, we play ball together, we sit and we talk about stuff together. You know what? That's what I did with my boys. You know, and I showed them the right path. I said, listen, you have to, if you want to be somebody, you want to be somebody very important, you have to keep your circle small. If you're go- if you're gonna keep your circle like wide and big, you know your name gonna call. You don't know who this guy is. You don't know who this person is. You're gonna sit down and talk to. Better keep your circle small, because if you keep your circle small, your name cannot be called. And as a father, I'm telling you, it's very hectic to raise three boys, but you have to put your foot down to let them understand that, listen, this is how I want you guys to grow. This is how I want you guys to be. This is how I want you guys to grow up and grow your child when you grow up and get child. You understand? Because I have my baby mother, but we part like 3 years ago. And what I do, I still take care of my three sons. I be there for them. I do everything for them still, see them because even now, my two sons, my two last sons, they're living with me right now. My two last sons are living with me right now, and I do everything for them. Same way the big one, I do just the same for them, and I taught them very well, and I grow them up very well, and they are very mothers of a child. So if we have fathers like myself out there, I just want to say thumbs up to you guys. If mothers, I know mothers are out there like you, and probably ladies that are listening in the panel. I have to say thumbs up to you guys. I love parents who really stuck out. Like what it is, stuck out for their child. I love that. That's just a awesome thing to do. It really make me smile when I see parents put out even their last for their kids. The key what it is. I really love that. You know, I see you're breaking down, and you know you're crying. It's such an emotional time, but you know I have to take my hats off to you. Honestly, yeah.
You know, this topic is so sensitive to me when and I just had to bring it and discuss it because, as again, I don't know if you've been here, but we're playing a topic, and besides my father, what I'm going through, like I said to my son, you get what I'm trying to say to you? His dad financially does the right thing, but he does not show up to anything. And it just and even if, to me personally, this is how I feel, guys. Even if you don't want to be around me, but your child crossing the stage, graduating, your child playing football, your child doing whatever it is, that show up, have lunch with him, something. And this is not, like I said, it's not a male bashing live. You get what I'm saying to you? There is mothers. I remember when I first moved to the state that I'm living in, and I used to go have lunch on random days with my son, and I see how some of the teachers treat these kids. You get what I'm saying to you? I'm like, where are the parents? Regardless if it's a mom or a dad, where are the parents popping up, just having lunch, looking around the area, how their kids are being treated in the school, how the kids are, you get what I'm saying to you? Like, we need parents to be parents, especially in this day and age. I saw a video on Facebook, or no, TikTok, I think it was, where a teacher like bruised a kid's head, like bust his head. You get what I'm saying to you? Where is the parent? I'm gonna be honest here, I'm gonna be biased. I don't want this to be a topic, but I blame the parent and I blame the teacher. You get what I'm saying to you? Because at one point, where was the parent to know that their child is misbehaving this much that it's going to frustrate the teacher? And the teacher, are you letting the parent know that, you know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be a topic, but we need parents to show up for their children, regardless if it's a man or a woman. Don't be out there thinking that you are building generational wealth by not being there for their child.
It's me again. I just wanted to I can send hugs to you, and I'll just share it really quickly. So I think for me, my mom was the abuser, and she did it to my dad, and she did it to me. So I was called the ugly black girl, a bitch like you should have did when you're born. Those kind of things that will come out her mouth. And for a long time, I hated my mom, and she got sick. She got sick. And when I looked at her and she was laying on the bed, and I'm like, look at life. Like the same one who you hated, the same one you told that she wasn't nothing and I should have radam when me I come out of you, is the same one is the same one who was with her through it all. But I'm going to share how I got to forgive her. My forgiveness for her came through my dad. When I was in a car accident, I was critical condition. 27 plates and screws, ICU, machine, everything. My dad came, and my dad never left my side. My dad said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I left my family. I'm sorry I broke your heart. And he kissed my forehead, and he never left me for 3 months. Every day he sat at that chair with me. And I said, if daddy could heal my broken heart, then I have to forgive my mom. Literally, at 36, my mom just told me that I was beautiful. At 36, my mom just told me that I was beautiful. I'm the darkest one she has. She just told me at 36 or 37 I was beautiful. And I always wonder, why did she hate me? Why wasn't I good enough to be loved like the rest of your children? And I just say that sometimes forgiveness, and I know that it's trauma that comes with it, but it heals you. Because to be honest, I think I'm the best version of being a mom to my kids now ever. Wait a second. Best version. When me tell you some I love on my kids, them, I talk to them, I communicate with them, I let them communicate how they're feeling. I let them express how they're feeling respectfully. And it helped me to become a better mom, and have a better co-parent relationship with their dad, because I understand the importance of a present parent who is not trauma built, but leading in love. And I think that's what it was for me. So I know how it feels not to want that, but the best version of you deserves the healed version of yourself. Sometimes is we just have to know that it wasn't our fault. It's not your fault your parents chose to do what they did to you. It's not our fault. Their trauma did that to us. So I don't believe that we should suffer for their trauma, because we have our own trauma to heal from. And that's with love. I'm giving that message with love.
Okay. So the reason why Black people are poor today is because of generational wealth or lack thereof. It has to be money, because everything outside of money is just feelings, right? The reason why we are so destitute is because of lack of money, because most people that have money actually know how to intelligently deal with their emotions, right? People without money struggle in every facet of life. So generational wealth, I think we need to be educated on it. Generational wealth has nothing to do with investment per se, or solely investment or savings. Like, for example, rich people didn't get rich and pass down everything they own to their children. That's not how generational wealth operates. So I open a trust fund, and when I pass, or when my son says should be 25, he will get, say, $200,000. out of the trust fund. That trust fund still remains $200,000 is still in it. That has my son has no access to. That will multiply until my son's son turns 25. Then he gets maybe 400,000 out of it. That 200,000 he has no access to will just stay there, continue until his son turns 25. What we are doing is saving peanuts and try to pass it down to our children to build on. That's not generational wealth. That's called a will. You just will what you have to your child. That is not generational wealth. That means you're going to forever end up in poverty because whatever your child gets, if they should squander it, there's nothing left for the next generation. As in the trust fund, that 200,000 is there whether or not my son will squander what he got. Continue to build for his grandson, right? So money is important. Feelings can change, and there's places where you can go to get treatment for that. Lack of money is hard to come by. You got to earn it. If you want to go, if you're living in your feelings, go to the church, go get a prayer, go see a psychiatrist. You can get help. Generational wealth is foremost the most important thing that we can ever do to sustain our community.
For me, I would say no. I just want to read something that I looked up, okay? It says, how much money is considered generational wealth? It says, for the amount of wealth to be considered generational wealth, it simply has to be passed down by at least one generation. However, there is no definitive number that constitutes, sorry guys, generational wealth, because wealth is why am I can't read tonight?
It's okay. You got it. You got it.
So for me, generational wealth isn't money.
Okay. Thank you.
Because for me, I'm just looking back. I understand what he says, the importance that we need to teach our kids financial stability. We have to teach them that, right?
Generational wealth is good, but if chasing generational wealth is going to be at the expense of your family, then it's not worth it. Steve Jobs spoke to that. If you guys ever read his book, he spent all his time building his empire, and when he got sick, he realized that what is it worth now, because it can't even save him. You have many more rich people said them would have give up them wealth for have time back with this person, that person, the children them hurt, whatever. What it comes down to is money is good. So nobody's saying that you're going to pick poor life. No, what we're saying is if you have to get the wealth, and that's what I open with, if chasing the wealth is going to mean to be to the detriment of your family, it makes no sense. Because just like what you say, a lot of these kids that get the generational wealth and squander it and mess it up is because their parents weren't there for them to teach them properly how to handle it. You check it. It's there. You can read up the statistics. Most of the kids that squander the wealth, most of the kids that have, and being in the home but not being present is not the same thing. Because enough of us think that we're present because we're there, but we're not there. We're not teaching our kids nothing. We're just teaching them to be horrible human beings. So it is, I'm saying, yes, money is important. Don't get me wrong, because, me allergic to struggle life, right? But at the same time, if it means that my kids are going to turn out to be horrible human beings because I just have to do money. I know many people, money until them sick. And at that time, them want to bond with their kids, and their kids are looking on them like, no, we just want your money. Because all they see you as is exactly that, a paycheck, right? So I also have met wealthy people who say, listen, me now pack up no wealth for give me pitney them. Them not doing it. If I die and it's left, that's fine, but I'm enjoying it now. I'm going to create experiences for them now. I'm going to spend time with them now. I'm going to teach them to create their own wealth and not sit down and wait on mine. And then if I die and if money is left, obviously we know money going to leave over because enough of them have businesses, then they'll get it. But I've known people who say, I don't think my kids can run my business. I'm going to leave it to somebody else. So there's that side of it too, where some of us are so caught up with building what our family never have for us and just so caught up with that, we don't realize that sometimes the same kids that you're building this wealth for, they won't be able to manage it because you're not teaching them to build their own. You're not teaching them to fish for themselves. All you're teaching them is to prepare themselves to take what you have when you're gone.
As I was listening to everyone, we all have valid points because it's coming from our mindset and our beliefs. And because I'm a child of God, I always refer to the word. And I know that this is not a Christian life, but it goes back to the story of the prodigal son and his father. He was a wealthy man, and that child took all his portion of the wealth and, go and do whatever with it. The wealth didn't die. It's not all about money. For me, it's about the knowledge thereof. How to create a substantial financial life for you and your children without having to give you my finances that I created during my time. Not saying that I won't pass it down, but I'm saying that there should be a certain level of knowledge that is instilled in your children that they will instill in their children. And so that wealth will pass down and they will be wealthy regardless of whether or not you left them a business or some money in the bank or started a savings for them.
It can't be money. And the reason why it can't be money, and generational wealth can start something simply as a house. You know what I'm saying? If you leave a house to a child and that child don't have to go look for housing and he can focus on something else and build upon that. You get what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, you can leave somebody money and it doesn't do anything. As Bella stated, knowledge is what we need. You know what I'm saying? We have to teach our kids. You know what I'm saying? And the excuse that they're going to go and make decisions anyway, they always come back home. They always come back home. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Like if we teach our kids what they need to do, even after they misstep and fall off, they're gonna swim back to the boat. So generational wealth can't be it wouldn't be money, but it would be the knowledge and what you pass down. So the knowledge and what I'm saying, basically anything that you pass down can be of value.
Difference between having money, being rich, and being wealthy. And anytime you're exchanging your time for money, you have not advanced or even start doing anything with wealth yet. That's one thing. And then another thing is, now I understand what Timeless says and what everybody says, all valid point. But wealth, one of the things that we need is access and resources. And so when you, for example, I think Miss Bella said about money, or somebody said money, you can leave money or assets or businesses, which is one of the worst things to leave for your children, is a business that you've built and say you're leaving it for your children. It's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. You have not given your kids the tools. They have no work ethic, they have no money management skill, and you want to leave them a business to do what? You're setting them up for failure. You're not leaving them with an asset, you're leaving them with a liability. And so you did not do them a favor. You will not do your children any favor by working hard, building a business, Wait until you die so they can take it over. You are setting them up for failure. Do not do that. You can have a lot of money and have no wealth. If you're still getting up every day working and exchanging your time for money, you are not wealthy. You are basketball players. They're playing basketball and they're getting millions of dollars, and you hear that they're broke when they stop playing. They were never wealthy. All they had was a lot of money and they were rich. You see people that win the lottery, they also go broke again after having won the lottery. And you are watching shows and I sit there and say, how can you? You won $1 billion and how you went broke? How come you end up on this TV show? You never had wealth, you had money. You were just rich. And some of the people that have a lot of money aren't even rich. They just have a lot of money. They aren't wealthy. You got to remember, health is wealth. You got to remember, knowledge is power. You got to remember, you need access and resources. You got to remember, when wealth exists without you even getting up today. Like, you decide you were going to go to Italy and be in Italy for however long, and it doesn't affect your money that's coming in. Generations going down, they don't even have to work within the business for that money to exist still. Even for properties, we want to be careful. We want to buy all these properties. All those properties they don't always have equity. They can be a liability too. You are leaving property of no value to your children. And so one thing, we don't want to be the only generation of people that is so blinded, because I don't want to get into religion and thing, but don't be a fool. We need money. We need money because money gives us the access and help us to get a lot of the resources, help us to get the place that we need to get. So we need some sort of, whether it's not a money in terms of a note, we need equity, we need capital. Really what we need is capital, whether it's the form of cash or whether it's in the form of assets. I don't care if it's a cow. I don't care if it's somebody's education, it's training for whatever trade it is that's going to get you capital.
So, first to begin with, generational wealth is very, 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 very important. I believe it is. It has been the success of many persons. People can speak to it. I believe it's what's left in terms of investment, funds, stocks, bond, property, land, and the list goes on. However, I think I'm going to take the point of two persons and just be quick. Bella said, leaving these things without the knowledge of how to use them is pointless. And I agree with that. That's a strong point. Because sometimes we leave stuff behind without any instruction as to our training as to how they are to be used for them to become generational wealth for the coming generation, because that's what it is. It's from grandfather coming down to you, to your son's son, or wherever. Also, I want to take from Bella's point as it relates to that we do need money based on how the world is structured now. But yeah, I guess everybody, I mean, you all said it. But I think it's important. What goes with it, or what makes it effective or makes it become beneficial, is having the knowledge. Don't leave a business if the child or your descendants, they're not interested in that particular type of business. You're only setting them up for failure, because people are going to make the choices on what they want to do. So yeah, but generational wealth is important.
Everything that everyone stated tonight was not incorrect. We just kind of need to put it together. And, education got to come first, because that is what we're lacking. You know what I'm saying? We need the education, and, with the education, it'll teach us how to acquire, wealth, and acquire the money, and acquire all these things that we need to get to where we need to go. And we can't do that without education first.
It's a great conversation. I enjoy this live. We should have a lot more lives like this. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. I want everybody to understand that we should know that money is a tool and not an achievement. And if we can get our head around that, maybe we can somehow educate ourselves as how to apply money. to make our lives
Thank
better.
you guys so much. Tonight was very informative. Tonight was a very good live. We talked about the father. We listened to the audio with the father who was not there for his child, but was building generational wealth. My final thoughts for tonight is, guys, don't be too busy trying to build generational wealth and do not spend time with your children. I told my story tonight. I was very vulnerable tonight. I'm not normally vulnerable, but generational wealth to me is the knowledge that you could pass on to your children so they can pass it on. And that's how you build wealth. Love y'all. Thank y'all. Peace, love, laughter. Let's have an amazing Mix Up in Business, y'all. Look. Thank y'all. Have a good night, y'all. Thank you for watching Mix Up in Business. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok at Kenesha Beckett1 to join in on the conversation. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share.